All right, let's dive right into this. We humans are incredibly proud of our brain power, right? From building massive particle accelerators to writing beautiful poetry, we think we're pretty clever. But to truly understand how minds work, we actually need to step completely outside of the human experience. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the absolutely fascinating mechanisms that animals use to stay alive and solve complex problems out in the wild.
So, right off the bat, what does a single-celled slime mold actually have in common with a lock-picking raccoon? I know, it sounds like the setup to a weird joke, but to figure this out, we really need to rethink what being smart actually means. We have to completely move past standard human tests, forget about IQ scores, and look directly at what it literally takes to survive in the wild.
Instead of treating intelligence as this fuzzy, abstract concept or just a single measurable trait like height, let's define it practically. Basically, intelligence is a mechanism to solve problems, and especially the ultimate problem, which is staying alive. That means finding food, securing shelter, fighting off rivals, or just fleeing from predators. Let's look at intelligence as a flexible set of skills. Think of it essentially as a survival toolbox.
Okay, let's open that up. Section 1, the basic tools.
To make use of this toolbox, every living creature relies on 3 basic steps. Step 1 is gathering information. Organisms use senses like vision and smell to monitor the outside world, but they also have to monitor internal states, like hunger. Step 2, they save that information using memory. This is absolutely crucial so a creature doesn't have to start from square one every single time it encounters something new. And finally, step 3, use it. This is learning through repetition, basically stringing together adaptable behaviors to interact with the world around them.
What's really wild is how even the most seemingly simple creatures use these tools. Take the acellular slime mold. It's literally a single giant brainless cell. No brain at all. Yet, when scientists put it in a maze with food at the end, it explores and leaves these slime trails behind. It's basically smearing its memories on the ground. By avoiding its own marked pathways, it efficiently finds its way to the food without blindly hitting the exact same dead ends over and over. It adapts to save time and effort.
Now, moving slightly up the complexity ladder, let's look at bumblebees. Scientists actually train them to play a tiny version of soccer. They learn to move a colored ball into a goalpost for a sugar reward. Obviously, this is totally unnatural for a bee, yet they mastered it and even got faster over time. But here's the real kicker. When researchers threw multiple balls into the mix, the bees improvised. They actively optimized their strategy, just going for the ball closest to the goal, completely ignoring the specific color they were initially trained on. Now that is adaptable learning.
Let's step it up a notch. Section 2, fancier tools and complex puzzles.
When the challenges of survival get harder, animals need what we can call a library of knowledge. This lets them memorize tricky mechanical steps and specific associations. Raccoons are a perfect example here. Their absolute favorite food is human food, which means they constantly face very unnatural human obstacles. When researchers challenged raccoons with boxes locked by complex latches, bolts, plugs, and push bars, they cracked them all in under 10 attempts. And honestly, the craziest part? When they tested them a full year later, the raccoons remembered exactly how to crack those specific locks, just as fast as day one.
But beyond just memorized skills, we have the ultimate tool, creativity. You can think of creativity as a sort of mental duct tape. It's all about making new, unexpected connections. It allows animals to take what they see, combine it with what they remember, and invent entirely unique solutions to problems they've literally never seen before.
Let's see this mental duct tape in action with a real-world puzzle. Researchers gave raccoons this classic setup, a marshmallow floating in a tall water tank, just out of reach. The intended solution? The raccoons were supposed to drop pebbles into the water to raise the level until they could grab the treat. But one exceptionally creative raccoon just bypassed the puzzle entirely. Instead of messing with the pebbles, it just shoved the heavy tub over and spilled the water. Boom, marshmallow acquired. That is mental duct tape holding a brand new plan together.
This same kind of mental flexibility also shows up when animals use physical tools. They creatively apply things in their environment to solve very distinct challenges. Primates, for example, will strip sticks to fish for tasty termites deep inside trees. And it gets crazier. Some octopuses actually collect discarded coconut shells from the ocean floor and assemble them around their squishy bodies as a sort of portable armor. They are taking completely unrelated, random items in their environment and creatively turning them into survival gear.
Which brings us to Section 3, the power of planning.
Collecting materials for later introduces a whole new, really advanced dimension of intelligence: planning. This means assessing what you're doing right now against a goal you want to achieve way in the future. Take the squirrel, for example. Sure, hiding and hoarding food is an instinctive behavior, but they aren't just blindly following a program like little robots. They actually use advanced thinking. They critically analyze every single nut first. They literally weigh the time and effort it's going to take to hide it against the nutritional benefit they'll get from it later.
It turns out squirrels are incredibly strategic. Damaged or low-fat nuts, they just eat those right away, not worth saving. Unripe nuts, they stockpile those specifically so they can ripen later. But here is the most mind-blowing part. They create empty caches. When a squirrel feels like it's being watched, it will pretend to bury a nut just to throw rival squirrels off the scent of its real treasure. They are actively strategizing using a theory of mind. They completely understand that other squirrels want their food, and they use pure deception to protect it.
Okay, moving on to Section 4, Custom Toolkits. A really crucial takeaway for this explainer is that animals don't just accumulate massive amounts of intelligence for no reason. They pack only the specific tools required for their unique environment. Compare that solitary squirrel with a flock-bound sheep. The squirrel is fiercely defending its territory. It absolutely needs complex spatial memory to find thousands of hidden nuts, and it needs deception. A sheep, on the other hand, is a grazer living in a massive flock. It doesn't need to be tricky. What it needs is long-term social memory to recognize dozens of specific sheep and even human shepherds for years. Evolving mental abilities you aren't going to use is just a biological waste of energy, so animals only pack the exact tools they need.
And finally, Section 5, the human edition. So while animals specialize tightly in their own custom toolkits, we humans went in the exact opposite direction. We invested in a wildly diverse toolkit, and then we accidentally added a revolutionary new tool on top of the whole shebang: culture. Culture is our ability to work together and, crucially, share knowledge across generations. Think about it. No single person could ever build a space rocket from scratch, but culture lets us overcome our individual biological limits by pooling our giant collective library of knowledge. But of course, there's a catch. Shaping the entire planet to our liking has generated entirely novel, highly complex problems. Yes, through shared knowledge we have triumphed, but we've also created totally bizarre new puzzles. Things like Sudoku, filing tax forms, and unraveling string theory. And obviously, on a much more serious note, by completely reshaping the globe, we've inadvertently built massive new threats for ourselves, like rapid climate change and antibiotic resistance.
Which leaves us with this final overarching question to end our explainer today. We clearly have the ultimate collaborative toolbox, but can we look past short-term survival to actually solve for the distant future? Everything we've looked at today, from the slime mold all the way up to the deceptive squirrel, shows us that intelligence evolved for immediate, short-term survival. So are we really equipped to use our mental duct tape and our shared culture to solve the long-term, slow-moving puzzles that we've built for ourselves? The toolbox is right there. We just have to figure out how to use it.